Some people say it's all about children, and others, maybe if you were there when they were lighting the Zilker tree, others say that it's about adults becoming like children. But no matter what definition you give to it, the holidays have a power, and they bring a change to all of our lives. On Austin Faith Dialogue, we're going to talk about children and the holidays. Please stay with us.
Austin Faith Dialogue, at the crossroads of religion and life. A series highlighting the cultural and social interactions between the worshiping and religious communities in and around the capital city. Austin Faith Dialogue is brought to you by the Austin Metropolitan Ministries in cooperation with KXAN. Join us now in Austin Faith Dialogue.
There is such a wonder about the holidays, and I'm glad that you've joined us in Austin Faith Dialogue as we explore what it means to be with children as they see the holidays through the lens, through the filter of their faith communities and through the lens and filter of their culture. I'm Carl Gronberg, host for your program, and we do thank you for sharing this holiday time with us and wishing for you and yours a blessed holiday. I have with me today on Austin Faith Dialogue, Brenda Sendejo Adensky. Thank you for being with us. Brenda, you are from the Austin Children's Museum.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about what that means and the Austin Children's Museum, what it's all about.
Well, the Austin Children's Museum actually began in 1983. It kind of, per se, started at the kitchen table of a woman who is our founder and executive director up until last year, Debbie Edwards. Basically, the museum, started in 83, and in 87 it moved over to a site on 5th Street. And as of 97, we've been downtown, in the midst of downtown Austin. And so in the last 17 years, we've reached children all over the community. Our mission is to provide innovative, participatory museum exhibits, programs, and resources that reach the Austin community. And we do that through a variety of multidiscipline approaches. Our themes are how different people live, basic science and technology, and the human experience. So we've had many opportunities throughout the years to reach our Austin community.
Well, I did not know. I've heard of the Austin Children's Museum, but I had no idea until Shirley told me today when I was visiting that the Austin Children's Museum has been a part of the Austin community for 17 years.
Yes.
And that you've been making that type of contribution. Debbie, when she and those around her kitchen table decided that there needed to be something like a children's museum, they must have known something special about children. Why do children receive that kind of attention? Why should we have something called an Austin Children's Museum?
I think there are a lot of answers to that question. The first one that comes to mind is the future. Children are our future, and in seeing in them the questions and the creativity and the curiosity, as our mission states, we want to answer to that in the variety of programs and exhibits that we have. But basically, it's their curiosity and their education that is our goal and our mission.
You know what I think, Brenda, it also is? I think it has something to do with we who are adults remembering that we're children.
Absolutely.
You know, sometimes we forget that. And when I've had the opportunity this week to visit the Austin Children's Museum, what I delighted in is seeing the parents, the adults. I don't know if they're the parents, but there's some adults running around there with the children. And they seem to be having such a joyous time. And Shirley in the wheelchair, this volunteer, and I think she said she'd been a volunteer for maybe 12 years.
12 years.
She just personified and expressed the joy of being in the atmosphere that you all have at the Children's Museum.
Absolutely. It's a one-of-a-kind experience, really. We're the only children's museum in Austin, and to me, the Children's Museum personifies our community, and it's so rich and so diverse, and like the exhibits and programs that we have kind of show to the community, it's a reflection of our community, as is Shirley. We have a variety of different people who come in through our doors that represent the community. A lot of them are volunteers. She is a volunteer that's been with us, for 12 years, and she personifies Austin very much.
And so people can volunteer to be a part of the Austin Children's Museum.
Absolutely.
And become a part of that. You have a staff there?
We have a full-time staff, variety of part-time people that come in addition to our volunteers that help us out throughout the year.
And What children come? Do they come from schools?
They come from schools, private parochial schools. They come from home schools. They come with their families. They come with their friends. Field trips, boys and girls clubs, recreation centers, a variety of organizations.
And how are you funded? Where does the support come?
We're a private organization funded in part by grants. Our programs that are fee-based programs, variety of funding opportunities.
Brenda, you told me that you grew up in Corpus Christi, the city by the bay, or something like that.
Exactly, actually.
Is that right?
Yes.
And then you decided to come to the university,
Yes.
go to school.
Yes.
You got a degree in what?
In anthropology. So it's very fitting that I'm in the position I'm in, which is community and cultural programs. The museum has dozens and dozens and dozens of programs, and they're divided into two different categories: public and science programs and community and cultural, which the department is.
Go again. You have science programs and what else?
Science program, public and science programs.
What does that mean? Public. What is?
Basically, it's a very general term that describes workshops and camps and different things that are open to the public. We have science-based programs. We have a variety of programs for children under 5. So our audience reaches really, we say 0 to 18. We have programs for teenagers up until age 18. Programs that involve collaborating with the community, which is one of the ways I met you. Programs that explore our diverse culture. So we touch on cultural traditions throughout the year, you know, within our community and the world.
Tell me more about that. How do you touch on the cultural traditions? We're going to talk about that in the second half of the program when we talk about the winter holidays and just the holiday season. But how do you do that throughout the year?
There are a variety of avenues for doing that. One of the things that we do is a community night. So on every Wednesday night, we're open free to the public from 5 to 8 o'clock. And what we do is invite the community to come to the museum to utilize the resources and exhibits. We also, on a regular basis, have different programs that will either relate to a local, not to a local, but to a holiday that's going on, whether it be Cinco de Mayo. So we'll have some workshops that will educate families and children. They can work together to learn about Cinco de Mayo. We also have throughout the year programs that relate to our International Children's Festival, which has a multicultural theme. And this festival, basically the programming that surrounds it and the festival itself, focuses on the incredible diversity and richness of the Austin community.
The religious community has often held up the importance, maybe it's a priority of the message of the religious community, of children. When you get out of your office and walk around the Children's Museum and watching the children, like today as we were standing there talking, those two little children coming up the steps, and I was saying, where are the parents? You know? But they were exploring, they were looking, they were on an adventure, finding out what was up there. What are the things that you see? Like Shirley was involved in the creative...
The Creation Station.
Creation Station. Well, now tell us, what on Austin Faith Dialogue is the Creation Station?
It's an opportunity for the kids to come to the museum, and everything is hands-on. So the exhibits, programs, everything is hands-on for our kids. Creation Station is a area we have in the museum that they can access and make arts and crafts using recyclable materials. So basically it's an opportunity to be an artist in the museum.
And find out that creative person is within them.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's a part of their growth, a very important part of their growth, and finding out who they are is kind of touching their creative
You
inside.
mentioned the rich diversity of the Austin community. And indeed, I think that we who have lived in Austin for a number of years, we've seen a change happen in the city of Austin. It more reflects. Matter of fact, Austin Faith Dialogue is an expression of that diversity, I think, that is a part of our community. What are some of the things that you think are very special about the diversity of the Austin community?
I think that I think diversity is a beautiful word in that it kind of is a catalyst for people who can better understand one another. I think that by understanding how we are different but yet alike is a very important means of understanding one another in our community. For instance, I mentioned the International Children's Festival. Well, that is such a very special opportunity for us to collaborate with local international communities. For instance, I was telling you our festival started 6 years ago, and back then we had about 10 to 15 local groups participating in an arts and craft area called Playworks, and they share their international craft with the children who come and have their passports and travel around the world at the festival. Well, our festival a few weeks ago, we had 29 local ethnic communities. So there are 29 diverse, wonderful communities, and those are only the ones we know about and that we work with. So you
And
can
we're
only
hoping, aren't we,
imagine.
that through this program that maybe more will call you?
Absolutely, absolutely.
That they can
We're
reach
always
Brenda?
looking, absolutely. We're always looking for different groups to collaborate with, not just at the festival, but throughout the year.
Sure.
In different programs
Exactly.
and exhibits.
And to be able to celebrate all those differences that we have,
absolutely.
and yet those things that
Absolutely.
tie us together, that's
Right,
common. Now,
right.
how does that tie in then with the winter holiday, that
Actually,
celebration?
it's nice because the theme of the festival, which is celebrating our diverse community, we try to keep that theme throughout the year, and one of the ways we did it is through this Winter Celebrations from Around the World exhibit. And once again, although we explore celebrations around the world, we also tap into the local community to help us to do that.
And one way you did that, because we're going to look at it in the second half of the program, we want to keep the people with us watching
Yeah.
Awesome Faith Dialogue. But the Wendish community, tell them
Yes.
a little bit about that
Actually,
exhibit.
it's very interesting. We have an intern at the museum, a high school student from
yeah.
Austin High named Natalie Pittsford, a very, very intelligent, gracious young woman who has taken place in a pilot program that we have, in which she came to the museum to do an internship and did her own exhibit on her oral family history. So she did a video of her grandparents and an entire exhibit on her Wendish history.
How long is the video?
The video is about 10 minutes, and she interviews her grandparents about
Wow.
their traditions.
And the Wendish people are...
Yes. They are
Good.
actually, they came from East Germany, areas in East Germany, back in the 1850s, and they came to seek religious freedom, and they landed in a place called Serban, Texas.
Aha, I've heard of that place.
Serban, Texas.
And the Wendish community is there at the Austin Children's Museum, and a young woman, 18 years
A
old.
young 18-year-old woman created this exhibit to learn more about the Wendish community. Yes, and it's actually her history.
In the second half of the program, we're going to listen to and see pictures of children in our community from what groups? Where are they going to be
Oh,
from?
they're from Indian background. We have an African-American child. We have a Vietnamese girl. We have just a wonderful array of children. We have of course, a Swedish girl.
Aha, I was waiting for you to say that, right? Something from
Of
Sweden.
course, of course. And about 6 more children from different backgrounds, from different cultures.
But you've done so well, Brenda. We're so
Thank
glad
you.
you're here
Thank
from
you for
Austin
having
Children's
me. Thank
Museum.
you.
And we hope that you will stay with us now in the second half of the program, because as Brenda said, some of the children are going to take you on an exploration, an adventure of seeing what they do and how their cultural background and how their faith is expressed in the way they celebrate during the holidays. Please stay with us on Austin Faith Dialogue. The holidays are about all of us being children and enjoying those expressions from our cultural and faith backgrounds. And we have Brenda with us from the Austin Children's Museum, and she's going to tell us a little bit about it. We're going to put some of the children of the community, and we talked about the richness and the diversity of our community. So let's begin. Let's look at a Santa Lucia. Let's start with her. Tell us a little bit, Brenda, about Santa Lucia.
Well, Santa Lucia is actually from Sweden, and in Sweden, on one of the darkest, longest nights of the year, people honor Santa Lucia, who is the patron saint of light. schools chose a student to be Santa Lucia, and she wears a long white dress and red sash, as does Rachel in this photograph, with a crown of candles around her head. And during this time of year, during the winter celebration, families sing special songs and make and eat saffron-flavored buns with raisins called Lusicats,
Yeah,
correct?
that's right.
During Santa Lucia.
Good for you.
And the celebration is a reminder that soon the days will become longer and lighter. And Rachel here, shown is the oldest daughter. She is a member of your
Gethsemane
parish,
Lutheran,
of
yeah,
Gethsemane.
she is.
Lovely, lovely girl. The Swedish custom, from what we learned, is for the oldest female sibling to dress like Santa Lucia and to bring treats to the family. And as Rachel says, the holiday is special to me because my aunt, uncle, and cousin are from Sweden, and they told me about the holiday. Santa Lucia brings children cookies, tea, and presents while they are in bed.
They do. That's what a Santa Lucia does. And I think we have a picture of the crown and maybe the Santa Lucia. There's Santa
Great.
Lucia. And for some of us in our tradition, that's how we began the holidays, on December 13th, Lucia Dagen. And the oldest daughter, and our daughters did this, would come in and bring us all those goodies. And notice the crown on her head. And there's the crown on the screen right now. And that's we use that also in worship, and it's a way of talking about light in the midst of darkness, which is a very profound religious symbol.
Absolutely.
Now from a crown, we go to red shoes, and we
Yes.
go to another celebration.
Yes, this celebration is St. Nicholas Day, which is on December 5th, and it's celebrated by children who are in Slovakia. And they place their freshly polished boots by the windowsill, and they leave it slightly open so that St. Nick can get in to fill their boots with treats. And when the children awake, they find goodies like candies and chocolates. And they may often find a devil toy or potatoes or onions or coal in the boots if St. Nicholas thinks that the children has been bad. So they usually try to get those treats, though. And here you can see Stephanie, who's 11 years old. Her grandmother's from Slovakia and her father is from Moravia. And recently she visited her Babička, her great-grandmother, and Teta, aunt, in the Czech Republic. She says the trees are huge and the buildings are old, and it's very different from the United States. She thinks it's neat because it's different.
I think she's neat. Stephanie is neat.
Very sweet girl, very sweet girl.
Let's go to another ancient tradition, that of the Jewish tradition of the menorah.
Yes, here you can see Michael, and Michael is lighting the menorah candles, which is used in Hanukkah. And approximately 2,100 years ago, the Jewish people had to fight to regain the use of their temple in Jerusalem. So Hanukkah is a time to remember this event, and it signifies dedication and celebrates religious freedom for all Jewish people. It is celebrated for 8 days, beginning on the 25th day of the Hebrew month of Kislev.
And again, the symbolism of light.
Yes, again.
Let's go now to see some children or a child is representing Native American tradition.
This is Monique, and Monique's family she and her family are both members of the homeless Choctaw tribe from Louisiana. The Native Americans of this tribe celebrate their winter with foods that are harvested in the winter time. Primarily fishermen, homeless celebrated with baskets full of fish and winter vegetables, Indian corn, and squash. Traditionally, Monique's family would have worn clothing made from palmetto leaves, and here she wears a beaded headband and a dress made from calico, which is the adapted apparel.
Beautiful expression of her culture.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. She has gone to powwows in Louisiana with her family, and she's learning how to weave baskets and carrying on her family traditions.
When we're done with this, we want to talk about how important that is for children, I think. How about
Absolutely,
African American?
Absolutely.
All right.
Right here we have Isaac, and Isaac was a joy to work with. Isaac is symbolizing Kwanzaa. Kwanzaa is a Swahili word which means first and signifies the first fruits of harvest. Different cultures in Africa celebrate the harvest in different ways, but it's always a time for people to prepare, celebrate, and give thanks for their good fortune. In America, African Americans celebrate Kwanzaa as a way of emphasizing the ideals behind a harvest celebration, such as working together for a better life for family and community and people. And this starts December 26th, and it goes 7 days. There are 7 principles of Kwanzaa, which include unity, self-determination, collective work and responsibility, cooperative economics, purpose, creativity, and faith.
He looks like a wonderful child.
He is, and when we were shooting this, he said, you know, my name is Isaac, but I'd prefer you to call me Ike.
Call me what?
This is Ike.
Ike.
So this is Ike, and he loves
Kwanzaa.
loves Kwanzaa.
And from Ike we go to Russia,
Russia.
to children.
Yes.
Or this is a doll.
This is a doll. This is a doll that symbolizes the the winter season in Russia, and one of the holidays celebrated is called Maslenitsa. It's a popular holiday in Russia, and it marks the end of the winter season. And for some, it's a time for feasting and for fiesta. Malencita is also referred to as Butter Week, and it begins 8 days before Lent. And it's during these days that many feast on pancakes, which are called belaini, and these are smothered with butter, and they eat these types of food which they don't eat during the Lent season. And this holiday occurs during the end of February and beginning of March. And the Russian Speakers Society of Austin assisted us with this information in the doll.
Let's go to the Philippines then and find out what they do in the Philippines.
The Philippines. Here you can see a parole on the screen. It's a craft made in the Philippines. Christmas is actually celebrated by more than 80% of Filipinos in the Philippines. Carols are played on the radio, and these paroles, such as this one, are hung outside the homes to signify the beginning of the Christmas season. The celebration includes dawn masses called Misa de Gallo, Rooster's Mass, and they begin 9 days before Christmas Day. The season ends the first week of January with the Feast of the Three Kings. And here the Austin Filipino Society has given us some nice items for display as well.
And you mentioned, the African American community, the Austin Filipino. This is wonderful how they shared.
It's a wonderful opportunity to collaborate with Austin.
How about the Hindu? The next one is a Hindu.
Yes. Diwali is the Hindu Festival of Lights. And here you see Rohit, who is 6, and Malika, who is 2. The actual day of Diwali is determined by the Hindu lunar calendar, and it usually falls in October or November on a moonless night. And people all over India prepare their homes by cleaning and preparing and cooking foods and making diya, which you can see they're lighting a diya right there.
Is that like a candle then?
It is a candle, actually, and it has like an oil and wick inside, and they put them all over their homes and around the city to prepare for the coming of, they want to welcome the Hindu god Rama and to encourage the goddess of prosperity, Lakshmi, into the home. And it also marks the beginning of the new year for Hindus.
And then we go to Epiphany, and I think this is just an adorable picture. When I saw this one, I thought, tell us about Epiphany, which means the wise men coming. Epiphany is January 6th.
Yes, Epiphany is the season following Christmas, and it celebrates the visit of the three kings to the baby Jesus, and it's celebrated widely in Mexico as in other countries. On Three Kings Day, which is Fiesta de los Tres Reyes Magos, January 6th, children receive gifts inside of their shoes. A repeated theme, which they leave out the night before.
Right.
Parades in the city streets can take place to honor the three kings, with floats carrying them to around the crowds and onlookers, they throw candies and presents under the crowd. But here you see Maria, Sofia, and Teresa, who are 3 lovely little girls who are holding the three kings.
Are they from the same family?
They are from the same family. They're sisters, and actually they speak fluent Spanish as their mother is from Mexico.
Right. Oh, wonderful. Well, those have been a real joy to look at it.
Thank
and
you.
Brenda,
Thank
I thank
you.
And all of these are at the Austin Children's Museum.
Yes, this exhibit will be on display until January 15th in the Community Gallery at the Children's Museum, which is downtown at 2nd and Colorado Streets. And we do have parking, free parking. It's challenging to get around downtown right now, but there is an area to park.
When you were going through all of this and we looked at these beautiful children, you were there when the pictures were taken of them?
Some of them, yes. It was a delight. It really was, for the kids to see the children kind of identifying with their culture. And it was special for them, I think. It was a good opportunity.
As a person who has a degree in anthropology and as one who now works in the Austin Children's Museum, what are some of the things that the advantages that come to children? One of the concerns I have as a parish pastor is that there are people who grow up without knowing anything about their heritage or their roots. And I think maybe the religious communities can help a lot, and these pictures are descriptions of that, how that can be done in the diversity of our expression of holiness and light. As an anthropologist, as a person who studied that, what's your thought regarding that? How does this benefit children to know something?
I think, Carl, the most important thing is that children can see other children in their traditional dress, talking about what's special to them about their culture. And I think relating to that is very important. I think that when children can see other children appreciating their culture and embracing their culture, it makes them feel more comfortable and want to learn more about their own culture. We have oral history programs at the museum, one in particular going on in December, where kids can kind of you know, explore their own cultures.
Are there other oral history projects other than the
We
Wendy's?
have some. Yes, we have some in the coming in the next few months in the museum. There is one during the holidays, I believe, in mid-December during one of the community nights, where you can actually make your own family album. You can bring your family, friends, whomever, and kind of explore your own, you know, oral history.
I think one of the fears people have is the fear of being different. And yet it seems to me that that's something we really need to embrace.
Absolutely.
Is our differences.
Absolutely.
And to know that in those differences we don't have to be afraid of one another. And I think what you're doing at the Austin Children's Museum, as evidenced by this, what we've just seen, is an expression of that unity that can bind us together. What else would happen to people who come down there, do you think, who would come during the holidays? It would be a good time to come. You might be closed sometime during the holidays, right?
Yes, we'll be closed on the 25th and on the 1st of January, but we will definitely have many holiday programs going on. You can come and build a gingerbread house with your family. You can come and see a theater production with a Christmas theme. You can come and you know, enjoy community night, different cultural programs focusing around the exhibit.
Mention that again. Community night is
Community
a
night,
freebie, is that right?
Wednesday nights from 5 to 8 p.m. throughout the year. Every Wednesday night we are open free to the public. And we often have different programs that occur during these nights. They're also free to the public. But we do have a policy at the museum that anyone who asks may get in for free. So if you do ask for an open door policy, you can get in for free. So
what is the cost to get in?
The cost is $4.50 per person. Children under 2 are free.
Because it didn't cost me anything. I just said, I want to see Brenda. He said, go right on in. You know? So if they come up there and say they want to see Brenda, they'll get in free. Is that right?
I don't know about that, but we try to open our arms to the entire community, so nobody will be turned away, ever.
Well, it has been just delightful to talk to you
Thank you.
about
Same
these
to
people.
you.
The children that you have met and the sharing with them has been a real joy for you.
Absolutely.
Well, I wanted to share some things also with you. This was to be for you and the entire crew here at the TV station. And I have to admit to all of you that I really dropped the holiday ball. My dear wife said, now you should bring some saffron down for Brenda. And so, Brenda, I'd like to invite you and your husband, 9 months you've been married, I understand, huh? To, during the holidays, come over to my house, to our house. My wife is a gracious Swedish hostess, and she would, because the tray is empty right now. And for the crew here at the TV station, I have to admit that there should be saffron, much like what Santa Lucia brings on December 13th for us, so that we could share together the goodies of the season. And in that way, that we could celebrate as the children have celebrated with us at the Austin Children's Museum. I am hoping that people realize there will not be an empty platter when they come down to the Austin Children's Museum. And from all of us at Austin Faith Dialogue, we would like to express to you and our viewing audience our gratitude for the gift that you give to us, sharing with us during the time that we have together in this program, in celebrating the wonder of the diversity and the unity that belongs to you and to me in the community where we live. Austin is a community where light prevails, and whether you are there looking at the tree at Zilker Park, or whether you are in your home with your family and your friends, may the peace and the joy and the happiness and the special foods of the season enrich your life with peace and joy. Thank you for watching Austin Faith Dialogue. Happy holidays.